Dominic Steele straightened his bow tie and stepped out of his Rolls Royce. 5 years. 5 years since he had signed those divorce papers with shaking hands. 5 years since he had chosen his empire over his marriage. The charity gala was packed with Manhattan's elite, but Dominic saw only one person. Across the ballroom, in a stunning red dress that took his breath away, stood Isabelle. His Isabelle, except she wasn't his anymore. And she wasn't alone. A man's hand rested on the small of her back, possessive, familiar. Dominic's jaw clenched as Isabelle threw her head back and laughed at something the stranger said. That laugh used to be his. Dominic Steele, as I live and breathe. Isabelle's voice cut through his thoughts as she approached. Her smile was polite, distant. I didn't expect to see you here. Isabelle, his voice came out rougher than intended. You look. This is Dr. Vincent Aldridge, she interrupted, gesturing to the tall, distinguished man beside her. My fiancé. The word hit Dominic like a physical blow. Fiancé. 5 years ago, Isabelle had begged Dominic to slow down, to spend one weekend away from his company, to remember they were supposed to be partners, not strangers sharing a penthouse. I am building something for us, he would said, barely looking up from his laptop. We don't need more money, Dominic. We need each other. But Dominic hadn't listened. He had missed their anniversary, her birthday, the day she had tried to tell him something important. He had never let her finish because a business call had interrupted them. When she had filed for divorce, he had been in Tokyo closing a deal. He had signed the papers between meetings, telling himself she would come back, that she was bluffing. She never came back. Now, watching her smile at another man, Dominic realized what he had lost. Everything. Vincent Aldridge was perfect on paper, a renowned cardiac surgeon, handsome, kind, attentive, everything Dominic hadn't been. Isabelle told me so much about you, Vincent said, extending his hand. His grip was firm, confident. The tech genius who built Steele Industries from nothing. She has. Dominic couldn't hide his surprise. Of course. Vincent's smile didn't reach his eyes. She said you were the most driven man she had ever met, single-minded in your pursuit of success. It wasn't a compliment. Isabelle touched Vincent's arm. We should find our table. As they walked away, Dominic noticed something. A flash of movement near the bar. A woman with a camera quickly ducking behind a column. His security chief, Ramon, appeared at his elbow. Sir, we have a situation. What kind of situation? That photographer. She is not with the approved press, and she's been following Dr. Aldridge all evening. Dominic's instincts, honed by years of corporate warfare, tingled. Find out who she is. By midnight, Dominic had a name. Lydia Cross, freelance investigative journalist. By 1 a.m., he had her number. By 2 a.m., she was sitting in his penthouse, her laptop open on his coffee table. Why are you following Vincent Aldridge? Dominic asked. Lydia took a sip of the coffee he had offered. Why do you want to know? Isabelle is your ex-wife. You've moved on, haven't you? I have seen the tabloids, a different model on your arm every month. Dominic flinched. The women had been distractions, failed attempts to forget Isabelle's smile. Just tell me. Lydia studied him for a long moment, then turned her laptop around. On the screen were photos of Vincent, with different women, in different cities. Vincent Aldridge isn't who he claims to be, Lydia said. His real name is Vincent Ashford. He has been engaged 4 times in the past 6 years, each time to a wealthy woman. Each engagement ended with the woman's bank account significantly lighter. Dominic's blood ran cold. He is a con artist. A very sophisticated one, Lydia confirmed, and Isabelle Steele is his biggest target yet. Dominic stared at the photos until dawn broke over Manhattan. He could warn Isabelle, but would she believe him? She had made it clear she wanted nothing to do with him. She had probably think this was jealousy, a desperate attempt to win her back. Which, if he was honest with himself, it partly was. His phone buzzed, a text from his assistant, board meeting in 2 hours, the merger cannot wait. The merger, 6 months of negotiations coming to fruition, the deal that would double his company's value. It required his complete focus for the next 2 weeks. Dominic looked at Lydia. How long until the wedding? 3 weeks. They are keeping it small, just close friends and family, very quick engagement. Because he wants access to her money before anyone can investigate him, Dominic muttered. His phone buzzed again. The board couldn't wait, but neither could this. For the first time in his life, Dominic Steele had to choose between his company and something else. He chose Isabelle. Isabelle's art gallery was in Soho, a dream she had pursued after the divorce. Dominic had heard she had become successful. Her eye for emerging artists was as sharp as his was for emerging markets. She looked up from her desk when he entered, surprise quickly morphing into irritation. Dominic, this is unexpected. We need to talk about Vincent. Her expression hardened. No, we don't. Isabelle, please, I have information. Information, she stood, her eyes flashing. Let me guess, he is not good enough for me. He is only after my money, how predictable. Actually, yes, he is after your money. Dominic pulled out his phone, showing her Lydia's photos. His real name is Vincent Ashford. He has conned 4 women before you. Isabelle barely glanced at the screen. Get out. Isabelle. Get out, her voice cracked. You threw away our marriage for your precious company. You missed every important moment. You chose board meetings over me, over us, over. She stopped abruptly, her hand moving to her stomach in an old, familiar gesture. Dominic's eyes widened. Over what? Isabelle, what were you going to tell me that day, the day before you filed for divorce? Her face went pale. It doesn't matter now. It matters to me. Well, it is 5 years too late. Tears shimmered in her eyes. I was pregnant, Dominic, and you were too busy to hear me. So I went to the doctor alone, and I lost the baby alone, and I cried myself to sleep alone while you were in Tokyo building your empire. The words hit him like bullets. A baby, their baby. Isabelle, his voice broke. No, you don't get to hurt now. You don't get to care now. She wiped her eyes. Vincent was there when I needed someone. He listened. He cared. And I don't believe your conspiracy theories about him. This is just you trying to ruin my happiness because you can't stand seeing me move on. It's not. Security, she called out. 2 guards appeared. Escort Mr. Steele out. He is not welcome here. As they led him away, Dominic looked back. Isabelle had collapsed into her chair, her face in her hands. He had failed her once. He couldn't fail her again. Dominic sat in his office, his head in his hands. The merger documents lay untouched on his desk. For once, he couldn't focus on work. A baby. They had almost had a baby. And he had been too blind, too obsessed, too stupid to notice. His intercom buzzed. Sir, there is a Lydia Cross here to see you. She says it's urgent. Lydia burst in, her face flushed. We have a problem. Vincent knows I am investigating him. How? I don't know, but someone's been following me. And this morning my apartment was broken into. All my research on Vincent gone. Backup drives, everything. Dominic stood. Are you okay? I am fine, but we are running out of time. If he knows someone onto him, he will either disappear or accelerate his timeline. Meaning he will marry Isabelle sooner, maybe even this week. Dominic's phone rang, an unknown number. Mr. Steele. Vincent's smooth voice filled the line. I understand you have been spreading lies about me to my fiancé. They are not lies. Isabelle doesn't believe you. She trusts me. She loves me. And in 3 days she is going to marry me in a private ceremony. He paused. There is nothing you can do about it. The line went dead. Lydia looked at him. 3 days. The wedding was supposed to be in 3 weeks. Dominic's mind raced. He needed proof, undeniable proof that Isabelle couldn't ignore. The other women, he said, the ones Vincent conned, can you find them? Maybe, but what good will that do? Isabelle won't listen to you. She won't listen to me. Dominic grabbed his jacket, but she might listen to them. Her name was Catherine Winters, and she lived in Boston. She answered the door with suspicion that melted into understanding when Dominic and Lydia explained why they were there. Vincent Ashford, she said the name like a curse. Or as I knew him, Dr. Victor Adams, swept me off my feet 6 months after my husband died. I was vulnerable, lonely, rich. She led them inside, offering coffee they didn't drink. He was perfect, attentive, romantic, proposed after 3 months. I thought it was fate, a second chance at love. Catherine's laugh was bitter. 2 weeks after I added him to my bank accounts, he was gone, along with $3 million. Did you report him? Lydia asked. Of course, but he had covered his tracks perfectly. Fake credentials, false identity. The police said he was a ghost, and I was just another foolish widow who should have known better. There were others, Dominic said. Would they talk to us? Catherine's eyes hardened. Oh, we would do more than talk. We have been waiting for someone to finally catch this monster. By evening, Dominic had 4 women on a conference call. 4 women with the same story. 4 women Vincent had destroyed. He's marrying another woman in 3 days, Dominic explained. Her name is Isabelle Steele. She was my wife. Silence. Then Catherine spoke. We will help, whatever you need. He can't be allowed to do this to anyone else. Isabelle won't see me. She thinks I am lying to sabotage her happiness. Then we will go to her, said another voice, Miranda Chen from Seattle. All of us. She will have to listen when she sees we are real. Dominic felt hope for the first time in days. But hope was dangerous, and Vincent was always 1 step ahead. Isabelle's phone rang at midnight, an unknown number. Isabelle Steele, a woman's trembling voice. My name is Catherine Winters. Please don't hang up. This is about Vincent Aldridge. Isabelle almost ended the call, but something in the woman's voice stopped her. I am listening. He conned me, took $3 million and disappeared. He has done it to at least 3 other women that I know of. Your ex-husband found us. We are flying to New York tomorrow to talk to you. Please just meet with us. Isabelle's heart pounded. How do I know you are real? How do I know Dominic didn't pay you to say this? Check my name online. Catherine Winters, Boston. There were news articles about the theft. I can prove everything. After the call ended, Isabelle did search, and found the articles, and felt her world tilt. She was still staring at her computer when Vincent came home. Darling, you ain't still awake, he kissed her forehead. You should be resting. Big day tomorrow, finalizing the wedding details. Vincent, can I ask you something? Anything. Have you ever been to Boston? For just a split second, his smile faltered. Boston? No, why? Just wondering. She kept her voice light. A gallery owner there wants to feature my work. He relaxed. That's wonderful, we should celebrate. He poured wine, handed her a glass. Isabelle pretended to sip, but she noticed how his hands shook slightly as he poured his own glass. Actually, Vincent, I am tired. I think I will go to bed. Of course, he kissed her again, sleep well. But Isabelle didn't sleep. She packed a bag, and at 3 a.m. she slipped out of the penthouse they had been sharing. She drove to the only place she could think of. The only person who had tried to warn her. She drove to Dominic. Dominic opened his door at 3:30 a.m. to find Isabelle on his doorstep, a suitcase in her hand and tears streaming down her face. I think you might be right about Vincent, she whispered. He pulled her inside without a word, made her tea she didn't drink, and let her sit in silence until she was ready to talk. I searched for Catherine Winters, found the articles, then I watched Vincent lie to my face about Boston. She looked up at him. But I need to be sure. I need to hear it from these women myself. They will be here by noon. Dominic sat across from her, keeping his distance. Isabelle, about what you told me at the gallery. Don't, she held up her hand. I shouldn't have said that, it was cruel. It was the truth, and I deserve to know. He leaned forward. I am so sorry, for all of it, for not being there, for missing the signs that you needed me, for being so obsessed with building an empire that I forgot why I was building it in the first place. Why were you building it? For you, for us, for the life I thought we wanted, he laughed bitterly. But I was so busy building that life that I forgot to actually live it with you. Isabelle wiped her eyes. I mourned that baby alone, Dominic, and then I mourned our marriage alone. Do you know how that feels? No, but I mourned losing you every single day for 5 years. I just didn't realize it until I saw you with him. They sat in silence as dawn broke over the city. The tabloid women, Isabelle finally said, were they real? Dominic shook his head. Props, rentals, my publicist thought it would help my image. Make me seem like I had moved on. He met her eyes. I never moved on. Dominic. His phone buzzed. A text from Lydia. Vincent knows she's gone. He is looking for her. Be careful. He knows you left, Dominic said, showing her the message. Isabelle's face went white. He has keys to my gallery, access to my accounts. Dominic, if he is really a con artist. We will handle it. He grabbed his phone. But first, we need to move you somewhere safe, and we need to stop him before he disappears with your money. By noon, Dominic's penthouse was filled with Vincent's victims. Catherine from Boston, Miranda from Seattle, Diana from Chicago, and Rachel from Miami. Each one told their story. Each one showed Isabelle the proof, the fake documents, the missing money, the lies upon lies. He was so good, Diana said, her voice thick with emotion. I am a lawyer. I thought I was too smart to fall for something like this, but he made me feel seen, special, like I was the only woman in the world. That's his talent, Catherine added. He finds successful women who have been hurt, who want to believe in love again, and he becomes exactly what they need. Isabelle listened to it all, her face growing paler with each story. How did you meet him? Rachel asked gently. At a hospital fundraiser 6 months ago. I had gone alone. My assistant convinced me I needed to get out more. Isabelle's voice trembled. He said he admired my strength, that building a successful gallery after a difficult divorce took courage. He made me feel like I wasn't broken. You are not broken, Dominic said quietly from across the room. You never were. Their eyes met, held. The moment shattered when Dominic's phone rang. It was his bank. Mr. Steele, we have a situation. Someone is attempting to wire $5 million from your account using old access credentials. We stopped it, but... Old credentials, Dominic's mind raced. Then he understood. From when Isabelle and I were married, she had access to my accounts. He looked at Isabelle. You added Vincent to your accounts. She nodded miserably. And he probably found my old information in your files. Dominic's jaw clenched. He's not just after your money, he's after mine too. Vincent Ashford, or whatever his real name was, had vanished. His apartment empty. His office cleared out. His phone disconnected. How does someone disappear that fast? Isabelle asked, packing Dominic's living room. Practice, Lydia said grimly. She had been tracking financial movements. He's done this before, has escape routes planned, probably has new identities ready to go. But he didn't get the money yet, Dominic pointed out. Not mine. And Isabelle, did you give him full access to your accounts? No, I was going to after the wedding. He said it was romantic, combining our finances on our wedding day. So he is still in New York, Dominic concluded. He needs to finish the con, either by convincing you to wire him the money or by forcing the wedding through. As if on cue, Isabelle's phone buzzed. A text from Vincent. "My love, where are you? I am worried sick. Please come home. We can talk about whatever's bothering you. I love you." Isabelle showed them the message. "He doesn't know you are onto him," Lydia said. "He thinks you just got cold feet." An idea formed in Dominic's mind. Dangerous, risky, but it might be their only shot. Isabelle texted him back. "Tell him you are sorry, that you panicked about the wedding, that you want to meet him." "Are you insane?" Isabelle stared at him. "Why would I?" "Because we need him to show his face, and the only thing that will make him risk it is the chance to still complete his con." Dominic turned to Lydia. "Can you get the police involved?" "With what? We have circumstantial evidence, documents that could be explained away. Unless we catch him in the act of stealing money or confessing to fraud, they won't arrest him." "Then we make him confess," Dominic said. Catherine stood up. "I want to be there, we all do. We deserve to see him face justice." Dominic looked at the four women, 4 victims who'd never gotten closure. "Then let's give it to you." Isabelle's hands shook as she typed the text. "I am sorry for running. I got scared. Can we meet, just us, the place where you proposed?" Vincent's response came immediately. "Of course, my darling. I'll be there in an hour. I love you so much." The place was a rooftop restaurant overlooking Central Park. Private, romantic, the perfect place for a proposal. And the perfect place for a trap. Lydia rigged Isabelle with a wire. "Just get him talking. Get him to admit what he's doing. The police will be listening." Detective Sarah Morrison was skeptical but agreed to help after hearing the 4 women's stories. "I'll have units nearby. But Ms. Steele, if you feel unsafe at any moment, use the safe word." "Mercy," Isabelle said, choosing the word carefully. It's what she'd wanted from Dominic 5 years ago. Mercy from the loneliness. Mercy from being ignored. Dominic pulled her aside before she left. "You don't have to do this." "Yes, I do, for them." She gestured to Catherine and the others, "and for any woman he might target next." "Isabelle," he cupped her face. "When this is over, can we talk, really talk?" "About what?" "About whether 5 years is too long to fix a mistake. About whether you could ever forgive me. About whether," he trailed off. "Whether what?" "Whether we could try again." Isabelle's breath caught, but before she could answer, Lydia called out, "It's time." Vincent was already at the restaurant when Isabelle arrived. He stood when he saw her, his face a perfect mask of concern and love. "Darling," he embraced her. "I was so worried. What happened?" I got overwhelmed." Isabelle let him guide her to a table. In her ear, the wire transmitted everything to the team listening below. Everything was moving so fast. "I know, and I am sorry for pushing." He took her hands. "We can slow down, wait longer to get married if you want." "But you said 3 days. You changed the wedding date." For a moment his mask slipped. Then he smiled. "Because I couldn't wait to make you my wife, but if you need more time." "Why the rush, Vincent, really?" "No rush, just love." But his grip on her hands tightened slightly. "You have never mentioned being in Boston." He froze. "Boston?" "A woman named Catherine Winters called me. She said you conned her. Took $3 million. Vincent's face hardened. Then, incredibly, he laughed. "Catherine, I should have known she'd track me down eventually." Isabelle's blood ran cold. "So it's true." "Oh, Isabelle." He leaned back, his entire demeanor changing. The loving fiancé disappeared, replaced by something cold and calculating. "Did you really think a man like me would fall for a divorced gallery owner out of genuine love?" In her ear, Detective Morrison's voice, "We have got enough, moving in now." But Vincent kept talking as if he couldn't help himself. "You were perfect, though, I will give you that. Wealthy, lonely, Still hung up on your billionaire ex-husband. Easy to manipulate. Why are you telling me this? He pulled out a phone, not his regular one. Because by the time anyone gets up here, I will be gone. And because you are going to transfer money to this account right now, or I am going to send these photos to every media outlet in the city. He showed her the screen, photos of her and Dominic from that morning, coming out of his building, looking intimate. The headline writes itself, Billionaire's ex-wife caught cheating with former husband while engaged. Your gallery's reputation will be destroyed. I don't care about my reputation. No, he smiled coldly. What about his? Because I also have documents showing that Dominic Steele has been embezzling from his company. Fake documents, of course, but convincing ones. By the time he proves they are false, his merger will be dead and his company in chaos. Isabelle understood. Vincent hadn't just been conning her. He had been setting up Dominic too. You are insane. I am practical. Now transfer the money or I release everything. Behind him, the rooftop door burst open. But it wasn't the police. It was Dominic, followed by Catherine, Miranda, Diana, and Rachel. I don't think she will be transferring anything, Dominic said coldly. Vincent spun around, his face registering shock for the first time. You, he breathed, staring at the four women. This is impossible, you can't all be. Here together, ready to watch you finally pay, Catherine stepped forward. Oh, we are very real and very angry. The police are on their way, Dominic added. Everything you said was recorded. It is over. But Vincent smiled. You think I am trapped, please. I have been doing this for 10 years. I always have an exit. He moved toward the ledge, a fire escape that led down the building's exterior. Stop, Detective Morrison burst through the door, gun drawn. Vincent Ashford, or should I say his real name, Connor Hayes, you are under arrest. Connor Hayes, Isabelle whispered. Son of infamous con artist Margaret Hayes, the detective explained, keeping her weapon trained on Vincent. We have been tracking his family's operation for years. They target wealthy individuals, create elaborate cons, and disappear with millions. Vincent Connor laughed. My mother taught me well, and you will never prove anything. I'm a ghost. Not anymore. Lydia stepped forward, holding a laptop. I have been digging into your past for weeks. Found sealed juvenile records, adult aliases, bank accounts in the Cayman Islands, and most importantly, she turned the screen around. Emails to your mother detailing every con, including this one. You sent them from Isabelle's computer thinking you have deleted them, but nothing is ever really deleted. Connor's face drained of color. Connor Hayes, you are under arrest for fraud, identity theft, and extortion, Detective Morrison said, moving to handcuff him. But Connor had one last card to play. In a flash, he grabbed Isabelle, pulling her toward the ledge. A knife, small, hidden, appeared at her throat. Nobody moves or she goes over. Dominic's heart stopped. Let her go, take me instead. How noble, the billionaire playing hero. Connor's voice was manic now. But she is my ticket out of here. Tell them to clear a path or I'll. He didn't finish. Because Isabelle, remembering the self-defense classes she had taken after the divorce, drove her elbow into his ribs and dropped her weight, breaking his grip. Dominic lunged forward, tackling Connor away from the ledge. They struggled. Connor's knife clattered away, and then the police were there, pulling them apart, cuffing Connor. It's over, Detective Morrison said. It's finally over. 3 months later, Isabelle stood in her gallery at a special opening. On the walls hung paintings by 4 new artists. Catherine, Miranda, Diana, and Rachel had all discovered a passion for art therapy during their recovery from Connor's con. Isabelle had taught them how to paint. They are beautiful, Dominic said, coming to stand beside her. He had been giving her space since that night, letting her heal, but coming to the gallery every week, buying pieces, supporting her in the quiet way she had once begged him to. They are, Isabelle agreed. Catherine says painting helped her process everything. They all did in their own way. And you, how are you processing? Isabelle turned to face him. I am getting there. Therapy helps. Having closure helps. Knowing Connor is in prison for the next 20 years helps. And us? Dominic's voice was hesitant. Is there in us to process? Isabelle studied the man before her. He had changed. She could see it in the way he looked at her, really looked at her. The way he had turned down 3 major deals to be present at the trial. The way he showed up. I don't know, she said honestly. I am not the woman I was 5 years ago, and you are not the man you were. No, he agreed. I am not. I sold the company. Isabelle's jaw dropped. You what? Sold it, kept a small stake, but I am not running it anymore. Life's too short to spend it in boardrooms when I could be spending it with, he trailed off. With what? With the woman I never stopped loving if she will have me. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small box. This isn't an engagement ring. It's a promise ring. A promise that I will show up, that I will listen, that I will be the partner you deserved 5 years ago. Isabelle's eyes filled with tears. And if you need more time, I'll wait. If you need space, I will give it. If you never want to try again, I will accept that and just be grateful you are in my life at all, even as a friend. Dominic. But if there is even a chance, even the smallest possibility that we could start over and do it right this time, I am all in. Completely. No boardrooms, no distractions, just us. Isabelle looked at the ring. Simple, beautiful, a promise, not a pressure. She thought about the baby they had lost, the marriage that had crumbled, the 5 years of hurt. But she also thought about the man who had saved her from Connor, who had believed her when she'd shown up at 3 a.m., who had spent 3 months proving, day after day, that he had changed. I can't promise it will be easy, she said softly. I don't want easy, I want real. I can't promise I won't be angry sometimes, or scared, or that I will fully trust you right away. I will earn it back, every day, for the rest of my life if that's what it takes. Isabelle took the ring, slipped it on her finger. Then let's start over, not where we were but something new, something better. Dominic's smile could have lit the entire gallery. Hi, he said, extending his hand. I am Dominic Steele. I used to be a workaholic billionaire, but I'm in recovery, and you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Isabelle laughed, really laughed for the first time in months. I'm Isabelle. I'm a gallery owner who used to have terrible taste in men, but I'm working on it. They shook hands, both smiling, both knowing the road ahead wouldn't be perfect. But for the first time in 5 years, it felt like a road worth traveling together. And somewhere in Manhattan, in a small apartment, Lydia Cross typed the final line of her article. In the end, the biggest con wasn't the one Connor Hayes pulled. It was the one we pull on ourselves, believing that broken things can't be fixed. Sometimes, all we need is the courage to try again. But here is the thing nobody knew. In a prison cell, Connor Hayes smiled. Because while everyone thought the con was over, they had all missed the biggest twist of all. The offshore accounts they had found. Decoys. The real money, $50 million from all his victims combined, was already gone. And his mother, the notorious Margaret Hayes, was already planning her son's escape. The game wasn't over. It was just beginning. 6 months after Connor's conviction, Isabelle woke up to find an envelope slipped under her gallery door. Inside was a single photograph, Connor Hayes sitting in a cafe. The timestamp showed it was from yesterday. But Connor was supposed to be in maximum security prison. Her hands trembled as she called Dominic. Someone's playing games, he said when he arrived. Connor's still locked up. I checked with Detective Morrison this morning. Then who sent this? Isabelle stared at the photo. In the background, barely visible, was a woman with silver hair, elegant, watching Connor with a mother's pride. Dominic's face went pale. Margaret Hayes. They went to the police immediately. Detective Morrison pulled up Connor's visitor logs. He has had one visitor consistently, every week. She turned the screen around. Melissa Harper, his attorney. Can we see footage? Dominic asked. The security tapes showed a woman in her 60s, silver hair, designer suit, professional, polished. She matched photos they had of Margaret Hayes, but she had aged, changed her appearance subtly. She has been planning something, Lydia said when they called her. Let me dig into this Melissa Harper identity. By evening, they had their answer. Melissa Harper was licensed to practice law in New York. Her credentials were impeccable, her references spotless. And every single piece of her identity had been created 18 months ago, before Connor had even met Isabelle. This was planned from the beginning, Dominic said. Margaret set up a backup identity, became Connor's attorney so she could visit him freely, and now she's, what? Planning to break him out. Or already has, Isabelle whispered, looking at the photo again. What if this isn't from yesterday? What if it's from today? Detective Morrison made calls, checked with the prison. Connor Hayes was in his cell, had been counted at every check, was definitely, absolutely still incarcerated. But something felt wrong. That night, Isabelle couldn't sleep. She kept staring at the photo, feeling like she was missing something obvious. Then she saw it. The reflection in the cafe window behind Connor. A man who looked exactly like him, standing outside, watching the photographer. Dominic, she breathed, grabbing her phone. Connor has a twin. His name was Julian Hayes, and according to Lydia's research, he had been serving time in a different prison for identity theft. Until 3 weeks ago, when he had been released on parole. Margaret has 2 sons, Lydia explained over a video call. Connor was the charming one, the face of their operation. Julian was the technical genius, fake documents, digital theft, offshore accounts. Together with their mother, they ran cons across 3 continents. Why didn't this come up during Connor's trial? Isabelle asked. Because Julian legally changed his name when he turned 18. Different last name, different records. And he's been careful to never be photographed with Connor or Margaret. Until now. Detective Morrison assembled a task force. If Margaret is planning something, we need to figure out what before. The lights in the police station went out. Emergency backup kicked in after 10 seconds, but those 10 seconds were enough. When Morrison checked Connor's cell on the security feed, she saw him lying on his bunk, apparently asleep. But Dominic noticed something. He's not breathing, look at his chest, no movement. They called the prison. Guards rushed to Connor's cell. Inside, they found a dummy, constructed with prison clothes stuffed with bedding, a wig, and a mask that looked remarkably like Connor's face in low light. Connor Hayes was gone, and nobody knew when he had actually left. How is this possible? Morrison demanded. We have security checks. How did nobody notice? Lydia pulled up the prison's digital records. Because someone's been looping the footage, not replacing it, that would be noticed, but looping it. The Connor you've been seeing on camera for the past 3 days has been the same 6-hour loop, slightly adjusted for lighting changes. Julian, Dominic said, he hacked the system. Morrison's phone rang. She listened, her face growing grim. Catherine Winters is missing. Disappeared from her home in Boston 2 hours ago. No signs of struggle, but her car's gone. Isabelle felt ice in her veins. They are targeting the women who testified. As if to confirm her fears, 3 more calls came in rapid succession. Miranda Chen, missing from Seattle. Diana Rodriguez, missing from Chicago. Rachel Kim, missing from Miami. All 4 women who had helped bring Connor down, gone. This is a message, Dominic said quietly. Margaret is showing us she can take anyone, anywhere, anytime. Isabelle's phone buzzed, an unknown number. She answered on speaker. Hello, Isabelle. Margaret Hayes's voice was cultured, educated, cold. I believe you have something that belongs to my family. I don't have anything of yours. Oh, but you do. My son's freedom, his reputation, his future. You took those from him, from us. He is a criminal. He deserves to be in prison. Margaret laughed. Darling, we're all criminals in our own way. Some of us are just better at it. Now, here's what's going to happen. You are going to transfer $50 million to an account I specify. You're going to publicly recant your testimony and admit you fabricated evidence against Connor. And you're going to convince the other 4 women to do the same. They are missing. What did you do to them? They are my guests, unharmed for now. Whether they stay that way depends entirely on your cooperation. You have 24 hours to make the transfer and schedule a press conference. If you involve the police, well, accidents happen. The line went dead. Morrison immediately started a trace, but they all knew it was pointless. Margaret was too smart for that. We can't give in to extortion, Morrison said. And we can't let her hurt those women, Isabelle countered. Dominic looked between them. So we do both. We make her think we're complying, and we find where she's keeping them. How? Isabelle asked. She could have them anywhere. Lydia was already typing. No, she couldn't. Margaret's operating style, she never goes more than 50 miles from her target. She likes to stay close to watch. It's part of her pathology. She wants to see the pain she causes. So she is still in New York. Or close to it. Lydia pulled up a map. Connor proposed to you at that rooftop restaurant. That was his comfort zone, Manhattan, Upper West Side. Family operations tend to stay in familiar territory. That is still a huge area to search, Morrison said. But Dominic was thinking. The money. She wants $50 million transferred. To move that much money without flags she would need. A bank connection, Lydia finished. Someone on the inside. Let me check which banks have employees who have been flagged for suspicious activity in the past year. As she worked, Isabelle paced. 24 hours, 4 women's lives at stake. And somewhere in the city, Connor Hayes was free and planning revenge. Lydia found 3 bank employees with questionable records. One had a sister who had been arrested for fraud. Another had gambling debts. The third. This one, Dominic said, pointing at the screen. Marcus Lang, works at Metropolitan Trust. His mother's maiden name was Hayes. He is related to them, Morrison breathed. Distantly, third cousin maybe, but enough that Margaret could leverage family loyalty. Lydia pulled up his work schedule. He's on shift tonight, works the overnight security desk. Morrison made a decision. We surveil him, see where he goes after his shift. He might lead us to wherever they're holding the women. But Isabelle shook her head. We don't have time for surveillance. Margaret said 24 hours. We have already used 6. What are you suggesting? I am suggesting we give her what she wants, or make her think we are. Dominic understood immediately. A fake transfer. Make it look real enough that she releases the women, then reverse it. That is illegal, Morrison warned. So is kidnapping, Isabelle shot back. Those women are in danger because of me, because they helped me. I am not leaving them there. In the end, they crafted a plan. Risky, dangerous, built entirely on the hope that Margaret's arrogance would make her sloppy. Isabelle made the call. I will do it. I will transfer the money and hold the press conference. But I want proof the women are alive first. Smart girl, Margaret's approval was chilling. Check your email. The video showed all 4 women tied to chairs in what looked like a warehouse. Alive, scared, but unharmed. The money first, Margaret said. Then you get them back. No, we do this simultaneously. I start the transfer, you release them. The money completes once they're safe. A pause, then, fine, there is an abandoned factory in Red Hook, Pier 47. Come alone, just you. If I see police, if I see your billionaire ex-husband, the women die. You have 2 hours. The call ended. She will kill you, Dominic said flatly. The moment she has you there, she will kill all 5 of you and disappear with the money. Then we better make sure that doesn't happen. Morrison assembled an undercover team. No uniforms, no marked cars. They'd surround the factory but stay hidden until Isabelle gave the signal, the word mercy again, transmitted through a new, virtually undetectable wire. Dominic wanted to go with her. Isabelle refused. She will be watching for you specifically, but there's something you can do. She turned to Lydia. Can you trace where the video was sent from? Already on it. The metadata was scrubbed, but they uploaded it from somewhere. If I can find the original file location. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Got it. The video was uploaded from a laptop at the Red Hook factory, but it was sent through a relay. The relay is, she stopped. The relay is at Metropolitan Trust, Marcus Lang's workstation. He is the communication hub, Dominic realized. Margaret and Connor are at the factory. Julian is probably with them, but Marcus is coordinating everything from the bank. Then that is where we hit them, Morrison said. We take down Marcus first, cut off their communications, then we move on the factory. Isabelle checked the time, 90 minutes until the meet. She looked at Dominic. If this goes wrong. It won't. But if it does, I need you to know something. She took his hand. These past 6 months with you, starting over, it's been the best 6 months of my life, even with all this chaos, even with the fear, because you were there, really there. Dominic pulled her close. We're going to get through this. We are going to save those women, and then we are going to have about 50 more years of good months together. Understood. She managed a smile. Understood. But as she left for Red Hook, neither of them could shake the feeling that everything was about to go terribly wrong. The factory was exactly as desolate as Isabelle expected. Rusted metal, broken windows, the smell of the harbor mixing with industrial decay. Connor Hayes stood in the center of the main floor, his mother beside him. Julian lurked in the shadows, laptop open, monitoring something. The 4 women were tied to support pillars, gagged but alive. Isabelle, Connor smiled, and it was the same charming smile he'd used to seduce her. I've missed you. Where's the money? Margaret cut in all business. Transferring now. Isabelle held up her phone showing the transaction screen, but it takes time to move 50 million, banking protocols. We have time, Margaret circled her slowly. You know, I almost admire you. Most of Connor's marks never fought back. You, though, you had spirit. Your son is a predator who destroyed innocent women's lives. My son is a visionary who understood that wealthy people are wealthy because they take from others. He simply took it back. Margaret's eyes were cold. And you took from us. My son's freedom, our family's security. Did you think there wouldn't be consequences? The only consequence is that your son is going back to prison. All of you are. Connor laughed. With what proof? We will be gone in 10 minutes, new identities, new continent, the money you are transferring. It is already being rerouted through 17 different accounts, untraceable. And these women, Isabelle nodded toward Catherine and the others. Loose ends, Julian said from the shadows. They can't identify what they don't remember. He held up a syringe, Rohypnol variant. They will wake up with no memory of the past 48 hours. We dump them at a hospital, anonymous tip, and disappear. It was almost believable, almost a perfect plan. Except for one thing. Marcus Lang sends his regards, Isabelle said quietly. Margaret's confident expression faltered. What? Your inside man at the bank. The police picked him up 20 minutes ago. He is singing like a canary about the whole operation. And that transfer you are watching, it is fake. A simulation running on a closed network. No real money is moving. Connor's face darkened. You're bluffing. Am I check your relay? Oh wait, you can't. Because the police shut down Marcus's access. Julian frantically typed on his laptop. His face went white. Mother, she's telling the truth. The connection's dead. The transfer it's not real. Mercy, Isabelle shouted. The warehouse exploded with movement. Police poured in from every entrance. Doors Isabelle hadn't even noticed burst open. SWAT teams, weapons drawn, shouting commands. Connor grabbed Isabelle, pulling her against him, a gun suddenly in his hand. Nobody moves. Let her go, Connor, Detective Morrison's voice echoed through the space. It's over. You're surrounded. I will kill her, Connor's hand shook. I swear I will. The gunshot came from an unexpected direction. Margaret Hayes stood with a small pistol, smoke curling from the barrel. She had shot the gun out of her own son's hand. Don't be a fool, she said coldly. Dead hostages have no value. And I didn't raise idiots. She dropped her weapon, raised her hands. We surrender, but I want full immunity in exchange for information on every con we have run for the past 20 years. Every victim, every dollar, every accomplice. Mother, Connor stared at her in betrayal. Quiet, I taught you better than to get caught. You got sloppy. Now we pay the price, but we negotiate the price we pay. Julian closed his laptop, hands up. He looked almost relieved. As the police moved in to cuff them, Dominic appeared at Isabelle's side. He had been there the whole time, hidden with the SWAT team, unable to stay away despite her orders. You okay? He asked. Ask me again when I can feel my legs. They freed the 4 women. Catherine hugged Isabelle so hard she couldn't breathe. You saved us. We saved each other, Isabelle corrected. Detective Morrison approached. Margaret's lawyer is already filing papers for her immunity deal. The DA will probably take it. The information she has could close hundreds of cases. So she walks free. Isabelle felt fury rising. House arrest, ankle monitor, supervised for life, and her sons go away for 20 years minimum. It's not perfect justice, but it's justice, Dominic finished. Sometimes that's all we get. As they walked out of the factory into the dawn light, Isabelle realized something. The nightmare was truly over this time. Connor was captured. Margaret was contained. The 4 women were safe. And Dominic was holding her hand. You know what I want to do? She asked. What? I want to go home, have breakfast, watch something mindless on TV, be incredibly, beautifully boring. Dominic smiled. That sounds perfect. They drove back to Manhattan in comfortable silence. The kind of silence that comes from surviving something terrible together, from building something real from broken pieces. At Isabelle's apartment, Dominic made pancakes while she showered. When she emerged, she found him singing off-key to the radio, spatula in hand, completely at peace. This was the man she had fallen in love with, not the driven billionaire, just Dominic, present, real here. Move in with me, she said suddenly. He turned surprised. What? Move in with me. Not eventually, not someday, now, today. I don't want to waste any more time wondering what if. I want to wake up next to you, fight about whose turn it is to do dishes, build something real. Dominic turned off the stove, crossed to her, cupped her face in his hands. Yes to all of it, yes. They kissed, and it felt like coming home. Outside, New York City woke up to another day. Somewhere, Catherine and the others were being reunited with their families. Connor and Julian Hayes were being processed into the prison system. Margaret Hayes was making her deal with the devil, trading information for freedom. But in that moment, in that sunlit kitchen, Isabelle and Dominic weren't thinking about any of it. They were just thinking about pancakes and second chances and the beautiful, ordinary life they were finally going to build together. The kind of life worth more than any fortune. The kind of life that could only be built from love. The end. Or is it? Because in a courthouse 3 months later, Margaret Hayes would lean over to her lawyer and whisper, "They think they won. How delightful. They have no idea what I have really set in motion." And when her lawyer asked what she meant, Margaret just smiled. My sons were pawns, darling, always were. The real game, it hasn't even started yet. And Isabelle Steele is going to wish she had never crossed the Hayes family. But that's a story for another time.
Dear viewers, welcome to our brand new channel, bringing you fresh billionaire romance stories filled with love, drama, and twists to keep you entertained. Every story is carefully created to give you the maximum excitement you've been looking for. We are working really hard to bring these stories to life for you, so please, don't just watch, help us grow by subscribing to our channel. And don't forget to click the bell icon so you never miss a single story. Sit back, relax, and let us entertain you. Thank you for your support. Your firelight bearer, Sparkles.